Okay. I'm like rushing between things. I haven't even set up some of the things. This is really truly live. I don't remember what lighting I usually do for this. I think it's that one. Yeah. Okay. So, in another message, my my partner, my wife is asking me, how does the light command work? Because she put it in the chat and was like, I didn't see it turn on. So remember, if you type light in the chat, then it turns on right here, just really quick, really small. I'll show it again. There, yep, there it is. So I don't know how fast it activates for you all watching, but I'm gonna guess there's a slight. Am I muted? Can you hear me? Can people hear me? Okay, I know I asked opposite questions. Thanks, Lazo. Am I muted? Can you hear me? And you're like, wait, which one do I say yes to no? Okay, cool. Uh, yeah. So welcome back. So a lot of stuff happened last night on the stream. Still figuring out if I'm going to do both time slots, but we were able to get a lot of things done in that time, which I'll try to do a recap because it was kind of significant. But what happened was I not only got the presence bot checker working and updating a score, but I also got it to work with the ServiceNow SDK and CLI. So I migrated the entire script into VS Code instead, and I've been updating it there. So there's been some progress made since Monday's stream, if you didn't catch last night's stream. And I can show off some of it. So if I find that presence table, it should have ran by now. It's been 5 minutes, but has it ran yet? What's the date today? No. So okay, hi. I set that command, the thing that gives points to everybody that's hanging out inside the chat, to run every 5 minutes. So if I started this stream how long has this been stream? Oh, exactly 5 minutes right now. So 5 minutes has just passed. And so hopefully this has ran. So if I refresh this, it has. So perfect. It's showing that it works. So everybody that is in the chat right now or hanging out, even if you're quiet, just received 10 additional points on this table. And it's going to do that every 5 minutes as long as I'm streaming. And now I'm going to have like, oh, who's been hanging out the most and watching the stream kind of situation that's going on in here. So the people that were on the stream last night kind of got an unfair advantage because I kept testing it and they got more and more points because they were here. But I'm going to guess like the people that gets the most points are going to be like the robots, the bots that are hanging out. Like Nightbot is going to always be there. I'm in the chat apparently, so I'm always going to have the maximum amount of points. But etc. So there's a couple of things I need to update because I realized that the script wasn't 100% correct. Namely, that username can change, and I should try to keep it up to date if I notice that it's different. But because I'm running this off of a unique ID anyways. User login's not even the unique ID. If I go into each one of these, the user ID is the unique ID, not the username. So we can update the script. So I'll work on that right now, actually. If I remember what I was doing. Okay. Yeah, so this is open right now because I was taking a screenshot for another video for the Now SDK stuff. But this is, I can't zoom in that far without getting lost, so let me do that. Okay, so I'm in my script. Again, I migrated everything over to the Now SDK, and so I'm not editing the script inside ServiceNow so that it looks a little bit more I'm coding kind of thing for when people are monitoring this and looking at that. So let me see. Bala just said, because on my first stream I was like, I don't know how to code anymore, and I just set up the SDK. That's true. All right. So, like I said, I only have username and login setting once.
Chestnut cheese.
That out of all of the ones, that one surprises me the most. Hey, English, just because it plays immediately. All the other ones have like a timer on it, but that one catches me off guard each time. The VAR-GR one. Okay, so what I want to do is check. Yeah, so records dot set value of the username. No, we'll do username and set that as. Oh yeah, that's another new change. So down below the stream in the like those little panels on Twitch where people can put their about me and all their other random stuff. I put what working text what chat commands work in there, so just people know what they can play with during these streams. And I want to only do this if it needs to be done. So I'll just do an if statement if it doesn't equal username. Yeah. Because the username and user login will always be provided, so I can't just do a null check. But if I just copy this, it should be the same. All right, I think that's what will work. All right, now if you weren't here to trigger now that I updated this in my VS Code, oh, someone finally used dark. Okay. Anyways, so now that I have this in VS Code, the way I push it into the instance is now SDK build, and then to deploy it, it would be now SDK deploy with the alias of whatever I set up during the SDK. I'm pretty sure that's the right command. Let me make sure. Yeah, it is. Okay. So I string them together. So now SDK build will run synchronously until it's complete, and then do the deploy action. If you've never done CLI stuff, that's how you chain together commands in the terminal. It's a semicolon. So I'm gonna run that, and it's gonna build, it's gonna deploy, and then we're gonna go back into the ServiceNow instance to see if it worked. Deploying. There it goes. It's deployed. So I'm gonna jump back into this instance, and how long is this streaming? So it's run already again. So if I refresh this, yeah. So I missed the last update because I just changed the display name for this channel so that I make sure it says my name somewhere in it. So I'm just gonna trigger it. So everyone's about to get some more extra points. It takes about 3 seconds to run, and I'll go ahead and refresh. Did I say shrub underneath? Only mods can shrub. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have put that there. Only mods can shrub. Oh wait, can usernames change? I think this got capitalized. Is that different? Oh, you know what? I didn't. You're not being impressed. I didn't change the channel name because you're only allowed to change capitalization, which I think is what I did. So that's updated. But you get a one-time change per month or something, like changing your login name. And so it was important that I set that because the user ID will never change, but these two fields potentially can change for everybody. So that means the table is up to date to everybody's Twitch name or their username. Okay, so that works. Everyone's getting points. Cool, good job. Welcome back to, well, who else is there? Okay, cool. All right, so the next thing I wanted to work on is actually allowing you all to say in chat exclamation points to see how much your score is right now. So that's the next thing I'm going to work on, which means I need to jump back into. How do I want to go about this? Probably another resource. So let me see here. Okay, yeah. Oh, I need to switch scopes. I'm going to open that as a reference, but I'm going to create a new one. I'm going to call this one my points. I'm going to leave it as a get, and then I'm going to copy this so I can do it in the SDK instead. There might be a faster way to do this, or do this entirely in the SDK, but I haven't played around enough yet to practice it. So I'll just do it this way. Whoa, what? Why is it trying to run analysis? Okay. I will probably call this one get points. All right, I'll save this and I'm going to go back into VS Code. I'm going to fetch that file. And it looks like it's already here. Yep, there it is. Okay, so this is working. It's looking for this function now, so let's start building it. Now, do I export each one like that? I think so. I wonder if there's a way for me to include the REST API IntelliSense in here. Let me try. I think it's called, it's either REST API request or REST API request body. Yeah, hey, Hilly, I'm gonna say Hilly. So, essentially, yeah, I'm just gonna do a quick recap because this is the beginning of us revitalizing or reviving this stream, so I'm gonna try to give some recaps as much as I can. But, what I'm trying to make is I'm using a local program, two local programs technically, Open Broadcast Studio, OBS, and this program called SAMMI, which is controlling my OBS and watching chat, and that's what's controlling what's sending back and forth between my channel, what's happening on the channel, and I'm making it send it via REST API to my ServiceNow instance. So essentially, yes, I am making a Twitch bot in ServiceNow. I'm just using, like, the only cloud part of it is the actual instance. I'm not using the normal cloud integrations that people are used to using for making a Twitch bot. So that's the main difference, I guess. But you'll kind of see what I'm talking about. But yeah, I'm using this program called SAMMI. It looks like this. And it's kind of watching everything that's in the background right now. But yeah, So where I'm right now is I'm going to try to build more commands that actually that users in the chat can utilize to access information from the instance. And welcome. Thanks for hanging out. It's not REST message. Like most of us would think it's REST message v2, but this is coming from a scripted REST API. So I think it's this one. Oop. And the response one. But then, oops, sorry. But then it doesn't think I'm utilizing it here. You know, it won't know to use it because it's being passed in as a parameter. I'm not actually calling this class in this script, so it's not going to activate in the IntelliSense there. Is there a way to treat a parameter coming in as a class object so that I would have to look into that, because this is these things should be here. That's what this parameter is, but it doesn't know that. Is there a way for me to say no? As doesn't work in there. All right, well, we'll just move on. I'll try to figure that out another time. Comment this out for now. Okay, so what I was doing here is if someone calls this, I want to respond with basically what their score is. Say your score is all right, so we'll get to that part. So that's the actual response side of things. We'll also do if I'll come back and try to do valid HTTP statuses in the future. Right now I'm just going to set it to 200 and hope for the best. If it errors out elsewhere, it'll give a different error message, but I know I need to build a better HTTP response, but I'll do that another time. Okay, so from here, I will give it... I think I need to build this concurrently because I need to remember what is going on here. So this command is going to be the points command for the chat. The trigger will be... I'm not going to turn the trigger on right now because you'll all start spamming it and then it'll mess up my dev of it. And I need to... I need to get information about who just chatted. Oh. Shouldn't you be working right now? Okay. So this is interesting because the trigger... I wanted to store... I didn't think about that actually. Can a person in the person that triggers this can I store who did that? And it doesn't look like I can. So how would I do this? Let's see what I can do in here. Get chatters. Ooh, that's... What if this... I mean, this chat doesn't go very fast right now, so that might actually be an okay way to do it. Oh, but there's a delay for execution on this one. Oh, and it doesn't even do it in the right order. I don't... there's no way for me to tell what specific order this is, unless it's always like array index 1. I guess we could test it. Chris says, Jesselyn. I wanted to say it out loud in case Jesselyn had it on another tab. Okay, so I'm going to trigger that just to see what happens. You know, I used to run live captioning. Probably should figure out how to make that work. ID 5. Yeah, it's definitely not going in order. Okay, yeah. I don't know if this points command is going to work then. Yeah, because there's no mechanism for me to know who triggered this. Unless I could do... No, that's hard-coded stuff. Yeah, triggers is just... So, because I wanted to base off of, like, if someone says points. But I... You know, I remembered to turn down the volume on my computer before I started the stream. Okay, so the triggers... Well, let me go into the commands and see if there's trigger pull data, trigger extension. Let's see what this was. Wait. I'll work on it. I'll work on it, Chris. Point shutter off, because I want to see what this variable does. Trigger it. Okay, it's just... Oh. What was... Did I save that one? Let's see if... What was... Did I enable it? Okay, I enabled it. So I'm going to type in points just to see. Oh, wait. I need to do this. Okay, so I just triggered it in chat. Let's see what it says. Is my... Oh, okay, it does work. Okay, it will work. Let me just make sure that's my user ID. Just the table. It will work. Perfect. Okay, so apparently if it's triggered from actual chat, it does bring in the user ID. So that's perfect. Cool. Okay, so that means I will have something to work with And this is what the payload looks like. Perfect. Okay. Who's responsible? Who wants to be a mod? I'm gonna make Chris a mod so that they and Wiz can constantly potentially ban each other for fun. Who else wants who? I'll just start giving. You're all like founders, right? Let's just all make everyone mods at this point. Is that how I mod? Is that how it works? Do you have mod now, Chris? Did you always wait? How do I mod you? Y'all like how I don't know what I'm doing? Jesselyn made her Twitch account literally last night. And I made fun of her about it, that she hasn't had one for other reasons. I don't know how to mod right now. I know how to ban you right now, apparently. Becca doesn't watch enough to mod the stream. I don't know if she knows what modding is for Twitch. I thought you were able to mod via chat. I'm like invested now. So give me it. I was focusing. Okay, I'm getting into the stream real quick.
And we'll go through.
Okay. Chelming is, I'm adding you as mod. Who else? Sorry, Jesselyn, you're going to become a mod now. If I can find your account. You spelled it weird. Giving Mr. Bala 87 mod too. Okay, so I know everybody I just modded. What do you all think if I should I mod Hilly? Hilly, I don't actually know in the community, so this would be interesting if I give this random person a mod on it. Y'all can vote if I give. Okay, now there's too many mods. I'll stop. no viewers, only mods. I wonder, does that affect the algorithm? Does, like, that only mods are watching? Okay, I'm gonna switch back to dev mode. Okay, so if I go back into VS Code, so that means I can send. I'll be able to send a payload. You know what? I don't need to type that all out. I have it here already. Oh, let me comment this out. And it wasn't in a data payload, so I don't have to worry about that. Okay, so if request data dot, I think it was user ID. Let me check. Yep, user ID. If that exists, we're going to glide record into this table. is a string, so I'm not going to worry about that. If then I want to set points, which I guess I should define up here. Set points to score. You know, we should probably do if points equals to 0, you have not received any points yet. All right, that'll do for now. So far, not a single thing has worked the first try on the stream, so whatever. Okay, I'm going to deploy that. Build and deploy that, I mean. And now I have to go back to this side of things to set up the scripted REST API side of things, which I'm going to copy some of this from. Copy. Don't need that one. Name that. Paste. I still need headers, so I'm going to leave those. Get rid of that one because it's not. Oh, I got rid of the wrong one. This one I need to get rid of. Okay. I already have a variable. Variable as chatter string. Oh, look, a random person came in and asked a question that I get to answer. I like story time. This is a great opportunity for me to just talk about myself. I'm just kidding. So it looks like is that Roman numerals? Like, is that, no, that's not Roman numerals. I don't know. But Ivla in the chat was saying, graduated in a bachelor's degree in economics. If I learn a code, can I become a software engineer? It's a great question. There is such a vast way, many ways I can answer that question. And the reason why is because software engineer is such a broad encapsulation of what a lot of people do as software engineers. There are most of the people that have just graduated from college, their main idea of a software engineer is like if you work at any of the FANG/manga, like Meta, Alphabet, which is Google, Netflix, the big five. Like, oh, I'm going to be working for one of those. That's what people think of when they think software engineers. And then a step down from that is software engineers at any other software company. So thinking of like gaming companies and Silicon Valley jobs and stuff like that. And then you go into what I call broader tech, which is the vast majority of developers out there. Because in broader tech, there is the need for developers and software engineers literally everywhere. My first developer job was for the University of California. That's not a gaming company. That's not Silicon Valley. It's just a university, but you need engineers there. You need developers there. So in that sense, it's very wide what people are expecting. So broaden your horizons a little bit from that question, and then from there, the actual question of like, oh, I didn't have a background in development. I don't have a bachelor's degree in engineering. That's okay, and the reason why I explained from that perspective of broader tech instead of just thinking gaming companies or working for Facebook or Google is because the pathway to becoming a developer or a software engineer is a lot more forgiving than people thought. It's a little harder now. If you asked like 3 years ago, the developer like job market was booming. Now it's a little bit hard. But the answer is yes, and I'll answer anecdotally first with an anecdote, and then I'll talk about my views from there. So my anecdote is that I didn't graduate with a software engineering degree. I didn't have computer science engineering. Looking back, that would have been great if I did. But I graduated with what was essentially global studies in college, and then I went into the workforce doing student affairs stuff, and eventually got to a contract office. But then so I didn't have any background in actual coding stuff. It wasn't until one of my positions at the university back then at UCLA in the contract office where I thought to myself like, man, we were doing so many things manually by Excel, via Excel, email, and Word docs, and everything was tied to certain Excel sheets. Like, not necessarily our database wasn't in Excel, but a lot of our like day-to-day tracking, some of our forms like were built in Excel, so that kind of stuff, not database stuff. But I was like, oh man, it would have been really better if I could automate some of this stuff so that we don't get some of the user error, some of the human errors that come along with filling in data entry and stuff like that. And so I took the spreadsheet that I used day to day for my job, and it was simply like what vacant rooms there were, according to on the ground when we're having conversations with people. Again, not database, but it's just like a tracking list for day to day changes kind of thing. And I had to look at that thing every day, and I had to compare, I think at the time, 17 sheets of vacancies, just so that I can have a good picture of what is available in case someone walked into the office and said like, I want to transfer rooms. I need to know what's available right away on a paper. And we used an Excel sheet for that. And so every day I would have to reconcile this beast of this spreadsheet. I was like, well, there's got to be to automate this, at least getting onto one page. And so I taught myself the scripting, the coding that was necessary to do that, because I had a use case and I had purpose to make my job easier. And so that was one of the very first coding things I tackled, and I did it myself, and I taught myself it. I used VBA, Visual Basic for Applications, which is the scripting language that Excel uses. And then creating that, not only did I realize, one, it was fun for me. Like, I thought it was really fun learning that stuff and doing it. I also realized that I was actually really good at it. And then third, it really did make my life a lot easier once I finished that script. And then I just started automating a bunch of stuff. And that's kind of like my first foray into engineering. Yeah, Visual Basic. But I mean, you use it because that's what you're needing at the moment. So that's how I got started in it. And then it kind of just snowballed from there. I was like, oh, I'm going to automate this part of my life. I'm going to automate that part. It was all Excel and Word. Like, oh, fill out these fields on an Excel form and it automatically builds the email to send on Outlook. Like, silly stuff like that, things that were just making my life easier. And that kind of opened the floodgates for me to start thinking about like, oh, it was fun to me. I think I'm good at it, and this stuff is useful, and I know why it's useful now. If you have that kind of those things, those kind of motivations in it, then yeah, I think you can get into software engineering, software development with any degree. In fact, you'll see there's a lot of programs out there nowadays, not just in my company, but that's like reskilling. And are you trying to look for sector change and stuff like that? So I think it's possible. That's my long-winded way of saying yes via an antidote. But for actual tangential or like tangible change and stuff like that, it depends on your motivation on how much you want to do it and your capacity to take on extra stuff. Because for a lot of people, that means attending a boot camp to learn how to code, or spending a few hours a night for several months learning a new scripting language or coding language, programming language, or a new platform, which is what Banglish did in the chat. Like me and Banglish sat down a couple of hours, a few nights a week for like several months and just talked about how to build this app and stuff like that. And I taught him, and now, and he learned a lot on his own, and he got a job out of it. So that is possible. It's just a matter of that. And I see that Bala said something too. He says, on a similar note, I think for many of us in this community, specifically ServiceNow, we started playing around with ServiceNow, got really good at Googling, and only learned coding when we absolutely needed it, based off of our interface. And never considered himself a software engineer, though, even though he teaches them. Yeah, like software engineer is an interesting title because I hear that term get thrown a lot, especially like you'll go on Twitch on random streams and people will be like, I'm a software engineer. And they're like, I don't want to see, I don't want to downplay anybody. Like they're still in school and they're not actually working. Like anybody could be a developer, anybody could be an engineer. Yeah. If you're working at, I think calling yourself a software engineer usually means you're employed as that. So, and that's just a matter of like a title, really. If you're doing code or scripting or building stuff, that's pretty much engineering. And if you're doing it all on software and on a cloud and platform or anything, that's software. That's software engineering. So usually we call people developers usually in our ecosystem, just because engineering is more about what your job is at your current workplace. So we're all devs though. Sweet. I wonder how many people dropped off when I went into story time because I kind of drone on about stuff. Oh, okay. I wasn't even. I can't even tell if people are still here reading it. Indonesia, and I have. So it's funny because, like, again, I not again. This is the first time you've seen this stream. So I'm revitalizing this Twitch chat this week to see how people like it, if people enjoy this kind of content. And on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I do it at this time slot. And then on Tuesday, last night, and Thursday, I'm doing it at my nighttime, which is 9 p.m. for me, but 9:30 a.m. for India. So that might be a better time slot for you, Ivla, if you're in Indonesia. So I think if you look at the stream schedule, you'll see that there might be a good time slot for you too if you want it. Or you're watching this. I don't know what time it is in Indonesia. But the reason why I'm doing this like dual time slot stream is that, hey Tim, or spoofer, I gotta use people's actual avatar names, Twitch names. But Eva, if you are in Indonesia, that's okay because, honestly, in our ecosystem, the ServiceNow ecosystem, honestly, half of our developers are in your time zones, are in Asia. So you're not alone. Half of the people in like half of our views for our YouTube channel, and so thanks Becca, you did Earl, you want to do socials actually. half of the stuff that happens in our viewer accounts and stuff like that, or our community forums and stuff like that, it's half of the people are from Asia and not in America. So I hope you're encouraged to pursue whatever dream you have for that. I think it's a fun and easy thing to get into as long as you're able to like have fun with it, know why it's important, and then being willing to do some hard work and put your effort into it. Cool. Potential mod for future. Hilly is responding to Bala too. Yeah, see, I miss Hilly. I missed that like first couple of years of being in an ecosystem like ServiceNow, but any new ecosystem. Like I'm learning a couple of new programming languages right now, and I'm that stuff that those years are fun because some of the weirdest, silliest things that I made in ServiceNow happened in that first year or two. And so, like all of my really silly bots and all of my weird tools that I want to recreate on this stream eventually were made in those first year or two because I was just like seeing what I could do. Like, oh, like is it possible to do this? Oh, I could do it this way. Oh, but there's this limitation. Oh, how do I work around that limitation? That's literally like the developer mindset of what are my tool set? What are my limitations? How do I get around those things? And let's build it. So have fun with it. All right, back to this. I was creating a new payload to send over to ServiceNow. I'm going to change the variable names just so I don't know if it will collide with the other one. I don't think it will because I think it's storing it in this button, not in the other button. I want to just make sure. Okay, so what's happening here is I don't need this one. Let me get rid of this one because this is the get chatters one. So points chatters is happening here. I'm stringifying it here. And then I'm storing it in this payload. Oh, interesting. That was only if I was posting. I don't need to post this. Yeah, I don't need to post this. I can just do a get. Because I can just do this as a query parameter. Okay, let's do it like that way. Might as well try different ways. But before I do that, let me make sure I have the right. So if I want to do it in here, ID is $. I keep forgetting the annotation for it. I think it was like this. No. It was. What was the annotation for it? $, slash $. Why is this so hard for me? Slash $. Okay. Slash. I'm blinking out. Okay, cool. So it's in a query parameter now. That should be enough. Oh, and then respond with I don't think I need that big of a delay. So let me lower it down. And then I'm going to respond. You know what? I'm not going to respond yet because I want to look at the payload. Okay, so save that. let me jump back into ServiceNow. Oh, I know, it's in VS Code, sorry. All right, let's look. I gotta look up the documentation for, what was it called? Query params. Request.query params dot, then the variable name. Okay. Interesting. So we're gonna say cons ID equals request dot query params dot ID, which is what I named it in the thing. And if ID I'm going to deploy that and then see if, and try to, and trigger it from chat. Make sure it's working. So in this program, you need to be pretty explicit with the wildcards. So that's why I'm adding a bunch of other options. Okay, so I'm triggering it in chat to see if the payload goes through. Okay, so there's the chatter string, which is good. Not authenticated. Required to provide. Oh, okay. It's not a. I need to. I really need to put better authentication on all this. I'm probably going to hide an API key as a hidden variable on things and just use it like that, so that I don't get DDoSed. Okay, well, that's progress. It's not the correct response that I was hoping for. At least it's just a get response thing. Anyways. Okay, so the response message, you have not received any points yet. So that means, oh, I've also changed it on platform, so I need to fetch. So let me fetch real quick. Last night, I accidentally deployed after creating new table fields on the platform side, and then I overrode it with a deploy, and it effed up that field. I have no idea. I haven't been able to recover that part. I had to make an entirely new section of the table just to make it work. It was, ooh. Anyways. Okay, so somewhere along, I should probably log this. I've been trying to force myself to use template literals a lot more. Okay. So let me redeploy, trigger it. Also, hey, Eric. And once that deploys, I'm going to retrigger it. Oh no, I can't trigger it like that. I have to say it in chat. Now I can jump back in to the logs. Jesselyn. Jesselyn loses mod. Wait, was there a reason you did that? Wait, did I display something bad? Jesslyn, why'd you shrub me? Don't you know what that? Mods are supposed to shrub if I'm accidentally displaying like an API key or a password or something that I'm not, or like I'm picking my nose and it's inappropriate. I don't know. Great job. Oh, well, that's working. Okay. So what could be going wrong with my script? Well, I guess I could check too, is to make sure I have more points. Okay, I do. So I should be returning that much at least. Actually, how much points do you all have now that we've been streaming for a while? Ooh. I do have Shabby. I do have one of those animations of me going into the bushes, like Homer Simpson does going into bushes. So maybe she thought I had that set up, which I probably should set up eventually. Maybe that should be my shrub command in the future. I do have that. I should go find that file and set that up. Okay. So if ID is there, it doesn't think ID exists. Or no, it doesn't think it's not 0. Or it does. It thinks it's not 0. So there's that. If points is 0. Oh, I wonder if it's this. Because right now points is an integer. It's not liking, it should be parse int. Because get value always returns string. So there's that. This is the right table because I just copy and pasted it from earlier. I don't see anything else wrong with this, potentially. Let's see if that parse int was the reason. Okay, once that authenticates, I'll trigger it once, and then I'm getting really hungry. And then I need to go check that variable. Oh, I can't trigger from, I need to trigger it from chat. I'm stupid. Oh, no, that's not one. Ailey found my secret trigger. Well, it's not doing that. So that's not doing it right. I'll come back to that because that's going to need some more debugging. You know what? No, I don't want to keep extending too much that I don't need to. I think that's good for right now. We got it responding. We got a new REST message resource working. Sorta. It's responding properly at least, and it's working with this tool that I'm integrating with. It's just not getting the right numbers yet, but I guess the last thing I could do is make it actually respond in chat with that message, even though it's the wrong message. So if I look back at the response, it's in the response in result, which needs to be parsed. And then, oh my gosh, I need to take a note of this. So in the result, if it's the result, it needs to be parsed. And then under result, response message is the response message. Okay, that's convoluted. What's string of... What do they call it? Stringify object? So I'm going to guess it's parse object. Array object name. Oh, I didn't even notice, Ailey, that it said it was a first time chatter. I thought you were in a previous one. Hi. This is my first time joining a Twitch live stream, so please feel honored. I am honored. There's so many people are making Twitch accounts just for me. Thank you. I appreciate it. Yay. Thank you, Ailey. You and Jesselyn. Jesselyn, a few people are making Twitch accounts just to support me. Thanks. This is encouraging because I honestly don't know if this is the I I honestly don't know if this is content that is going to be good enough for me to make sure I continue to do into the indefinite future. I know for now I want to do it at least a few times a week. This week I decided to do it all 5 days of the week, but next week I'm thinking. Well, I'm traveling a little bit, so I'll make sure. I think I'm going to do next week at least 2 or 3 days a week, and then the week after that we'll see. I want to see what people think about this. So if you have any comments or criticisms or thoughts, please let me know. Find me on anywhere else, the Slack, on LinkedIn, etc. Okay, so I'm parsing that, and that will happen right after the response. Ooh, I wonder how much I have to delay that. And then where are they going to store it? Parse array object. Documentation. Oh, that's where it wants to save it into. Okay, so does that mean I need to put that here? And this is going to be called, I'll just call this what to send. Send chat message in this channel. And that is going to be what to ID 5, what to send. Shoot, I don't remember. Result dot response message, I think it was. Result response message. Okay. So I'm not going to say that should work. Nothing works the first time in this stream. Trigger it. Oh, it worked! Can other people try points to see if it gives you an actual number? Cool. It doesn't work for anybody. It's cool. At least it's going back and forth and actually posting into the Twitch chat. Thanks, everybody. Everyone has no points. Sorry. Let's see how it is actually working for everybody. Look at our... Oh, no! I am a Mac. iMac. I am iMac. Also, Travis is in the chat too. People really like VARGR and the drama one. My favorite is the photo one still, but it doesn't get as triggered as much. Cool. So some things are working. I got to work on why that score isn't showing up properly. I probably should move this to an actual like chat bot account instead of just making it seem like it's posting as me. Oh well, that's some other day. That's a problem for future Earl. Oh, wrong one. There it is. Okay. Cool. I think I'm gonna end it there. It's my lunchtime now, so I'm gonna go eat and jump into more meetings today. But thanks for hanging out. Thanks for story time. Up there, if you're still watching this, Eva. Oh, the filter didn't work. Uh-oh, I'm breaking things even more. Uh-oh. Oh, it's because drama is running at the same time. Oh, I didn't close. Interesting. Drama and photo collided with each other. I gotta fix that. They were supposed to be queued so that they wouldn't happen at the same time. Yeah, what? Did to Visapunk. That was one of the. I need to add that as a command too to make it say that AI voice over and over. Okay, thanks for joining. Have a good day, everybody. Okay, thanks. Bye.